I always go live on my iPad.
Yeah,
We
me
was trying to
too.
find all types of solutions. Oh, hold on, I got you, Dame. So what was the question?
He
Oh, hold
asked
on.
us about fatherhood, Dame.
Yeah. So the topic today is about fatherhood. We're gonna go a little deeper than that, but that's like the basis of the topic.
Okay, well, this is the appointed time for us to get started, so I'm
Okay.
gonna go ahead and get started. Turn this. All right. Okay, so the topic is fatherhood and the mental load showing up when you're running on empty, and this is part of a weight. This is going to fall under the part of my platform called the weight room. When you think about weight, just think about, of course, lifting something that's on you. And the purpose of the panel is to provide a safe space for fathers, especially Black and Latino men, to unpack the emotional weight of being a provider, protector, and nurturer while exploring the mental and emotional toll that goes unspoken. So, if I could just have everyone start off by introducing themselves, start off with Emmanuel, go from there.
All right. What's going on, everybody? My name is Emmanuel Pierre, or you can call me Coach E. Pierre. I'm your empowerment and discipline confidence coach. I'm also the owner of the Monumental Podcast, and I am a published author.
Okay,
Welcome,
Derek,
everybody.
the healing coach.
Hey, everybody, my name is Coach Derek. I am your favorite healing journey coach and relationship coach, and I help you heal first. And then once you heal, then we can bridge you over to a better relationship situation. And even if you don't want a relationship, because a lot of y'all are making that choice to never like interact with humans again, at least you'll be a better version of yourself anyway. So come on down.
Coach Reese.
How do you follow that?
I
I'm
know.
Coach Reese, Mr. Quadruple Double. My mission is to excel mentally and emotionally, physically, in my relationships, and in my career slash purpose. So that's the mission for me. And yeah, that's plenty for now.
All right. And this, let me make a general announcement. We this is a closed platform, so it's by invitation only. The people who are up here were invited. Two of them at the last minute, but nonetheless invited. So until we do questions and answers, I won't be bringing anyone else up. Going over to purpose.
Purpose and resilience. I'm nobody, man. I'm just out
Stop
there
it.
in that.
Stop it.
It's the
Stop it.
So
lie. It's the lies for me.
It's the lies for me.
I'm nobody. I'm nobody. I'm just some guy on the internet. But I want to see everybody become the best version of themselves and put themselves first. That's my message. Put yourself first. The rest, you figure it out.
Fun fact. Fun fact. So, Purpose's first video that I seen is what got me into the coaching. Because I
Oh
seen his
wow.
first video and I posted it, and then everybody was like, "Who's this guy?" I was like, I could never find his page, and then he popped into my live one day, and I was like, "That's the
Whoa.
video that I posted." I was like, that was the video that I posted, and I started sending everybody over to him. So,
I try to be, man.
yeah,
Nice.
Thank you, thank you. I try to be. I'm not that daggone bright.
You're
Why is
a good storyteller, though. Very good storyteller. I don't.
A hell of a storyteller.
And
a
I don't
hell of a
like, for the
storyteller.
most part, don't like long videos, but I will sit through your videos. I will sit through the whole thing because it's usually
Absolutely.
interesting.
Every time I see one pop up,
Maurice, that says a lot.
Um, I am I am Maurice, and newly formed doctor. So I'm excited about that. Um,
I need you to
I've
say that with
been
more energy, man. I need you to say that with more
hey nah
energy.
nah oh no, believe me,
Say that.
where
I
I
need
come
more
from,
energy behind that.
cats just don't become doctors. So but I'm also a I have an online church that I pastor called Relevant Church, and I've been a certified life coach since 2010. So I've been in the game for a minute before it was niched off and everything. So right now I'm just glad to be a part of the panel and contribute to the best way that I can with any information that I have. My goal is like everybody else is on here to see you walk in the best version of yourself by any means necessary. So I appreciate the invite, and I'm always honored to be with these fine gentlemen on this panel.
Absolutely.
All right. Next, I have the screen up, so whoever's next, please go.
Walt.
Hey everybody. I'm Walt Hustle. Like somebody said, I'm just somebody that's trying to help spread this message about, mental health, about being better. Just trying to spread love, spread, any kind of positivity into the world. Give back. Trying to do something that someone did for me. So I'm just trying to be a blessing to someone else. So like I said, that's my prayer. I pray to ask God all the time to bless me where I may be a blessing to others. And I done met up with some of these pretty good people. Mr. Derek Gumbo, Mr. Dr. Maurice Ball, and my big sister, Miss LJ. Like I said, it was definitely a blessing meeting them, and I'm just hoping I'm giving back as much to the people that those people have already given to me.
Welcome in, Cassandra. So I'm LJ. I'm the host. This is the 1 year anniversary of me doing my panel discussions. I usually do a couple of them a month. This month has been 3 so far, so I'm a little weary right now with that in school and work, but I'm excited about this. The original panel is everybody, the first 3 people that are up here, plus Keith, the therapist. So I appreciate you guys coming back and rocking with me, and we'll go ahead
Love
and get
no.
started. All right. So this is the opening discussion is going to be, what are the pressures you carry that no one else sees or talks about?
Hmm.
So go.
So I want to say for me, if I say it in a nutshell, right? Being a father, a son, cousin, uncle, right? The titles of most men that you have in your life, right? I wear those titles proudly, right? When and it's one of those things that I take very seriously, especially when people that I love are in need and they need me to be there, right? It's not them needing me to be there just to be there. It's the fact that they genuinely need me to be there. I wear those titles proudly. And as a person that's also an empath, obviously I take in a lot of energy. So there be days where it may look like I got it all together, but inside your boy's struggling a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I be struggling a little bit because it's a lot of energy taken in, you know what I'm saying? Helping my mom, helping my sister when I talk to her, dealing with my nephew, my niece and my nephew, and my kids of my own. My son's 16, he just joined the football team, so that's another venture that we're going through. So it's just like having to wear all those hats and still try to maintain, like, just be healthy with it. Takes a lot. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of strength and resilience to be able to manage all those hats at once. But there be days where something seems through the crack a little bit, but I'm here.
Anyone else?
We can't hear you, Derek. We can't hear you.
You muted.
Got to go now because y'all thought I was talking. So,
Like, who else want to
because
say something?
what I was saying was, if anybody else want to go, I was just gonna fill in the dead space.
Oh,
But since I'm talking though, we gonna let Maurice go in like 30 seconds because I ain't got a lot because I'm gonna just piggyback on him. It's really about the juggling of things a lot of times, and I know humans do it, but I think for me, it's really just been not knowing where my ceiling was to be able to say, okay, I can't handle, like, you don't want to be the person, a self-imposed. You don't want to be the man or the father or the whatever that can't take care, can't do it. You can't take a break because then if you feel like in your mind, if you stop, if you say I can't do it, then you feel like everything else will crumble. But with time, I realized that most of the things that I thought would crumble is gonna be okay, and then I can make time for me to take care of myself. But it's been a journey for me to really be able to say, not right now. I gotta sit down. it was a long time before I was able to do that. It actually got to a point where, you know, how stress and all that stuff, it sometimes, well, not sometimes, a lot of times it affects your health. And so a hospital visit sat me down. So I land my plane.
Um,
Um, I know that early when I was younger, I mean, I got married at 30. Um, and so trying to figure out some things at 30 is way different than trying to figure out things at 52, because of just life experience, because of learning different coping mechanisms, having outlets, having surrounded myself with some homeboys. I got 40-year friendships, 30-year friendships, 20-year friendships. So I have some homeboys in that I can have an outlet to. I think the pressure comes on us when we think that we have to be all things to all people, and that is just a false statement. When you feel that if you don't show up, that something is not going to happen, and what I've learned is that when I tried to do that and tried to be all things to all people, in the midst, I started to lose myself. And that's where the frustration and the anxiety and all the other stuff started to come from. So when I realized, like, the family ain't gonna collapse because of me not showing up, and started to really focus on that. Now I'm able to show up authentically all the time in all the spaces. I'm just like mostly all of us on here. I'm an empath, but that's the way that God made me, and an empath. But it recharges me. Like, I could take people's stuff and it doesn't stay with me. It comes in, then it just goes out. But I'm able to absorb a lot. So it's I use this analogy, like if you lived at the foot of a volcano, um, and the volcano erupted, the ash is going to supercharge the soil. The ash is
Right.
going to make everything, make it more nutrients, being able to absorb more nutrients. And because I've been through the fire and came out the ashes, the way that I'm wired, I'm able to absorb more. So my life doesn't take away from my family. It doesn't take away. I don't take away from my wife. I don't take away from my son. Um, but again, that's a learned experience over time. Early on, it was still trying to figure out how to work these pieces. Then once I figured out the formula that God is in control, He's the author, He's the finisher, and I'm gonna get out His way and let Him do what He's doing and just go be obedient to what He tells me to do. Then I'm gonna always be where He needs me to be, and that's going to keep the stress off of me.
hey, repeat the question real quick. I want to make sure I answer it right.
Okay. What are the pressures you carry that no one sees or talks about? And to add some things to that, think about the financial pressures, emotional expectations, and spiritual fatigue.
Got it. This is going to be a deep one. Fear that I'm not going to, my son, the information. I have a big fear that I'm going to leave my son with something. I'm going to miss something with my boys, right? I've been talking to my boys since they've been in the womb, right? Leaving them information all the time. I mean, since they've been kids, every day, right? And I remember watching Chris Rock's special when he was talking about his father and how his father was always talking to him because he said black men talk like that because we die so early, so we always leave information because we die so early. And I was like, wow, and I was bust out in tears because that's true. And I remember when I had my heart attack, right? And I was sitting on the thing like, I forgot all this stuff that I needed to tell my son, to teach my son. I was like, oh man, I forgot to teach him about this. I forgot to talk about this. And I was like, shit. And that's one of my biggest fears. It wasn't purpose and resilience. It wasn't this and that. And even though that was too, but the biggest fear is me leaving, some information on the table for them. And when the doctor told me I was good, that's been my biggest thing. And the sole purpose of me being healthy and the sole purpose of me mashing on the gas and even putting out content is for them, and even leaving for young folks, even like Purpose 2.0 that's coming. It's for young people, to leave it for people, to leave a legacy for them to be able to do it, for they to be able to have the information, to be able to leave something so I can be able to rest. Because that's my biggest fear is to die. I've seen death. I've seen death in so many different versions. And the version that scares me the most is the one with regret. That scares me. When I seen that, I don't want that. And so in order for me not to have that part of death, I gotta do something about it. So in order for me to do something about it, I gotta mash on the gas. So in order for me to make sure my son has that, I gotta teach my son everything. Um, so that's what kind of sort of fuels everything for me right now. Is to make sure that I get everything to them, and get everything and fulfill everything to them and make sure that they know. That's why, I talk to them every day, but I talk to everybody, especially young folks, to make sure they're squared away. I talk to young folks every day and try to get their head and fill their head with knowledge, and even older people to talk to people and make sure they're squared away, because you never know, you never know when it's time for you to go. And I don't take any second for granted, you know what I'm saying, and anything for granted. So that's what kind of sort of fuels and fears me, gives me fear. I think fear, and I think people hear me all the time, and I say fear is a good thing. It's what motivates you. Fear should motivate you. You know what I'm saying? If you don't tell me don't tell me that you're afraid and you ain't doing nothing with it. If you're afraid, what the fuck you doing with it? If you're not doing nothing with it, then okay? Then what you afraid for? When I went to the doctor today, I just needed to go ahead for something, And once he told me I got to go ahead, okay, I'm about to mash on the gas, and that was it. Don't tell me you're afraid of death and you don't do nothing, you know. So when I speak because I'm afraid. I'm afraid of leaving this information, or not giving my sons, or not giving this information what I need to give them to what I need, given the information that I have inside of me, of leaving something empty. I'm not afraid of nothing else, right? I'm not afraid of the Creator. I'm not afraid of God. I'll never be afraid of God, you know. But I'm afraid of leaving this information because I don't want them to make a mistake. I don't want them to make a mistake that I think they can mitigate. You know what I'm saying? And if they do make the mistake, I want it somewhere in their subconscious with that voice inside of them to say, you know what, my old man, hey, you know what? Hey, Joe, hey, Jacob, don't go down that street. No, I ain't going down the street. Something, you know what I'm saying? Something. The same way my grandmother did. It's something my grandmother told me when I was 2, 3 years of age that saved my life. I don't even know how I even know it, but it's something she told me that saved my life, that she kept telling me and drilling me. Like, I'll give you a great example. My grandmother told me, don't live with no woman that ain't your wife. She's been telling me that since I was 3 years old. I have never lived with a woman that wasn't my wife. I have never lived with a woman that wasn't my wife. My grandmother has been telling me that since I was a baby. No one, I have never lived with one. Don't live with a woman that wasn't your wife. Don't do this. I have never lived with a woman that wasn't my wife. So those things work. She's done that all of life. I've never sold drugs. She's always do, don't sell drugs. I've never sold drugs a day in my life. So I know it works, So that's one of my fears in life is to not leave something for them. To be able for them to have something so they can be able to build on. And one of my biggest another fear is not to be an example. I never want my actions to betray my words. Never. And that's why it's so important for the doctor to give me a go ahead. I wanted the doctor to get a go ahead because I just need this last 80 pounds because my son, I want my son to never be overweight. Well, I can't tell him to do that if I'm sitting here like this. I don't want my son to be unhealthy like me. That's what got me in a heart attack. I had 2 heart attacks and a stroke. What's the next one? Right? So I can't be full of shit. So I can't have my actions betray my words and tell my son live as a man, and then his father is full of shit. So I gotta live the shit. So he has to see his father live this. So when the doctor gave me the go ahead today, I gotta prove this. He has to see it. He has to see this. So he don't end up like me because a son usually falls in the footsteps of his father, and he usually falls in the footsteps because that's kind of sort of his example, right? That he needs. And he ventures off and says, Dad, I'm gonna go do my thing. But that's usually later on down the line because that gives him kind of sort of the blueprint in order for him to go and do what he want to do. But he needs a foundation. So I gotta be the foundation for my son. And I don't want to be a burden for my boy. And that's my fear. That's one of my fears. That's why I told him the other day that I want to, I'm going to live overseas. And I said I want to live overseas, and I'll come back when it's time for me, to kind of expire. Because I want him to live his life. I don't want him to take care. I don't want him to take care of me. Because I want him to live his life. I want him to go out and go figure out life because I raised him to be a man. And I'm gonna make sure he's straight, right? But I taught him how to be a man. So and I want him to build on the teachings and the wisdom I gave him. And he can do it. He can do
Thank you.
it. Yep.
Coach Reese.
Thank you for that, everyone, especially you, Purpose and Resilience. That was, thank you for sharing that. Of course, you got my brain all over the place. So let me focus on the question. You said those the stressors that we carry that people don't really know about. Similar to the how you closed, my goal is to be the embodiment of the things that I share, that I talk about. And with my sons, who are, well, 30 July 1st is the oldest, so 30, 27, 19, and 13. Um, I always want them to, I want to be their point of reference, right? What would my dad do? How would my dad handle this? And I'm literally living that right now. We laugh about it after they deal with situations, and it's like, well, I'm like, well, what happened? Well, I didn't call because I knew you would dot dot dot. And I'm like, wow, I'm literally winning at life because I'm seeing this right now. But every day I filter my decisions through that idea that I want to be that embodiment. I want to be that example. I want to share the idea, but I want to live the idea. And so I don't talk a whole lot. I don't sit them down and teach them lessons. I show them and I share my journey with them. I'm very open, very transparent with them, and I walk them through certain things, and I allow them to see me go through the ups and downs and twists and turns of life. And they get to see again, they get to see me in almost all aspects of life. And but that's a stressor for me because I run everything through that filter. And sometimes it causes me to hold back. It causes me sometimes to even play small. It causes me sometimes to deprioritize myself and shuffle some things around. And I scream from the rooftops: prioritize your well-being, prioritize your well-being, put you first. Um, but sometimes I'm guilty of not doing that because again, I'm trying to make sure that everyone is okay. And so that's the biggest stressor that I carry, is being the embodiment of all the things that I talk about, all the ideas that I share. I literally, if I never speak another word, I want them to be able to look at my life and and literally know how to proceed based on, how they see me show up in the world. And that's the biggest stressor because then I feel like everything needs to be crisp because I know they're watching everything.
Walt,
Um, I think for me it will fall under stress and the pressures of trying not to let anyone down, trying to be there for everyone, trying to, not even hurt one person. And that, as we all know, is impossible. But it's just something in me that even if it's 100 people and I, deliver for 99, the fact that I couldn't deliver for that one is going to have a lasting impact on
thank you.
me. It's more so of, like I say, never wanting to let anyone down, never wanting to look like a failure in anyone's eyes. Wanted to be the best friend I can be, the best brother I can be, the best father I can be, the best son I can. And when you do things and you want things like that, you put so much pressure on yourself, but then turn it around and I try to use that pressure to make me a better person. And that's why, I spread myself so thin where I've lost, friendships, I've lost family members, I've lost things because even with trying to be there, I'm doing it at a place in my life now where no matter what it is, I'm making the right decision. I'm going to do what's right every time. So I have to be there for you or talk to you about something, whether it's son, mother, father. The hardest thing to do is tell someone that you really love and don't want to hurt that, hey man, you dropping the ball. So we, going through carrying these things and you're trying to not let nobody down, but still be what your purpose is in life and still meet your goals, and you can't do it, it becomes a fear of, at the end of the day, I'm gonna let someone down, if not everyone. And by that, the ultimate fear is I'm gonna end up by myself. And it's just something that on a day-to-day basis I'm starting to understand and see, hey, you know what? As long as I'm being doing right by people, and as long as I know my actions are right, then I'd be okay. Does it hurt to see people walk out your life? Absolutely. Does it hurt to see, you to lose people? Absolutely. Especially when you want to be the leader. It's like being in the army and y'all having to go across seas or something and y'all in a war. You don't want to see none of your troops, left behind. You don't want to lose anybody. You go over there with 1,000, you want to come back with 1,000. And, to lose just that one, it hurts. So my biggest fear to a lot of people, or my biggest stressor that I carry that a lot of people don't know is people don't know just how hard I go for them. And that even when the conversation ends and I walk off from you, I'm carrying your problems with me still, trying to think, how can I resolve this for you? So that I don't think a lot of people understand how much of that I actually carry, and how much of it, when I tell you I love you or I got you, that I'm doing everything in my power to really have. So, when you run into those kind of things, that's something that I don't think a lot of people realize how much I care, because every time they see me, I'm smiling, I'm joking, and I'm laughing. But behind that smile, behind those jokes, behind those laughs, I'm sitting there and I'm figuring, like, man, how can I make this happen? My brother need me, my sister need me, my mama need me, this person need me. It's just, trying to figure it out. So for me, that's something that I don't realize. I don't think a lot of people understand how much of that I actually care.
So, Walt, how do you know when you're running on empty?
Um, to be honest, you know it. It's just like if you're running empty in the car and you can see the gas needle on E. You know it. It's just like when you're not feeling 100%, you feel it. But the scariest part about it, Go Talented, is not the not knowing that I'm running empty. Is the fact of, even though I'm running empty, I won't stop running.
Right.
The one thing I know in regards to running empty, your body will tell you to slow down. Your body at some point will tell you to slow down, regardless if we don't want to slow down or not. Your body will give you that indication you got to slow down.
And a lot. Then that's the problem, that so many people that's really close. Well, not so many. The few people that's really really close to me and can understand what it is. That's why they get so upset, because
Hmm.
I run myself into my body to just say stop, and that's dangerous.
Very much
And I
so.
do it because I don't want to let anyone down. I've let
Very,
people down before, and I think that's something I'm definitely working on it. I can identify that I'm working on it. The people that I let down in my past, especially when I was younger, where I knew I was completely 100% at fault,
hmm
I still carry wanting to correct those issues. Do
You
I
know, but
accept that I let them down? Yes, but it's still something that I want to say I want to make right up.
well,
So,
can I share something with you? I mean, um, I think we all got things and people that we let down, that we disappointed throughout life. um
absolutely.
the first thing is, some of it was intentional, that I let some people down, hurt some people. It was intentional, and some of it was unintentional. Either rate, man, free yourself and just forgive yourself, because the race of trying to run and make everybody happy is exhausting, because everybody's going to always have a different need, and people are going to evolve all the time. And the more people that you're trying to make happy, then the person that you are starts to fade into black, right? And then you get to a breaking point to where, um, just the needle on top of the haystack that kind of breaks you down. This life is very difficult already, but to try to make everybody happy, man, that's a lot of work, and a lot of unnecessary energy that you're I ain't gonna say wasting, that you're channeling into something that may not reciprocate or receive that energy. So, man, I would say free yourself from that, because, bro, that will kill you, um, at an early age. Real
Yeah.
talk.
I
You,
I
can
got
I say
something to
something?
give to.
Real quick, let me
Go
say
ahead,
something.
Derek.
You know, what I found out about me when I was transitioning into the person I am today, I avoided people with high expectations, right? Because I didn't know how to respond to them. So, I would try to avoid them because I didn't really know how to say no. So I would just try to kind of sort of avoid them. And then I started to try to be an asshole, right? Because that's how you can tell when people are transitioning. The first thing what they'll do is they'll become an asshole. They'll be like, because that's their defense mechanism. They'll start to be trying to be like aggressive, like, oh, that's the way they push people off them because they don't really know how to say no or be like, keep, establish some type of boundaries because, they're people pleasers and I guess they're recovering people pleaser. And I used to burn out a lot. That's how I ended up with a heart attack, man. And I tell the
Mm-hmm.
story all the time how I ended up with a heart attack. Um, I was on the phone with someone for free. And I was like, hey, I think I'm having a heart attack. And they were literally was like, well, let me tell you what my husband was doing. And I was like, I'm having a heart attack. I'm not lying. On the phone.
That's insane.
Doctors, it's like I'm on the phone. I'm having a heart attack. I'm driving on my way, and she's telling me how her man ain't this. She didn't care. This is the thing I need people to understand. This is, and there's no disrespect because it's not her fault. This is not her fault. It's mine. None of it is. And then the next day, she called me. Well, but let me tell you what he did. And the doctor was like, ma'am, do you not understand he had a heart attack? Is he okay? She said, what? That's not their people. Here's the thing. You have to understand something. And I tell people this all the time, right? It is naturally, it's a natural thing to be selfish for people who are not connected to you. It's for my son to be selfish. That's my father. I'm selfish. I'm concerned about my old man. So I'm selfish because that's my dad. You see what I mean? He's selfish. It's my father. No, I need purpose even though he's not charging me. My boyfriend, my husband, who I'm not supposed to be with, purpose is making me feel good. He's making me feel good about a dumbass situation that I put myself into. He's giving me attention. He's making me feel good. I understand he's having a heart attack, but I'm feeling good. Now you have to spend $5,000 to speak to me. Now it's $5,000, and they pay it. They pay it
I love it.
straight up because it's. Here's the thing. Once you understand human nature, it's a book Robert Greene wrote that is excellent about human nature, and it's one of the most boringest books you ever want to read. It's very boring. But once you understand human nature and you understand humans, it changes your life. You will stop being a people pleaser and you will understand how to create an ecosphere for yourself. And
Absolutely.
as a man, and as we're talking about this today, even with running, even with my sons, I have to do that to show my sons I can't run out of gas with my sons because I can't have them mimic that behavior. I can't have them do that, right?
Right.
Give you a great example. Recently, their mother had some health issues. Great, great segue. Great. Here's a great example. I said to their mother, I said, okay, so are we going to listen to me now, or are we just going to continue and act like you know what the fuck you doing? She said, I'm going to listen to you. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. You're going to do exactly what I say. And guess what she did? Exactly what I said. Because she did it her way. Now, I could have sat back and I could have just went back and forth with her. Went to this is not. I don't do that anymore. I was married to her for damn near 20 years. I've been with her for 20 years. I know her. But the old Joe would have done that. He needed to see this is how you handle stuff. I'm going to let your ass go out there and fly. Because that's what I used to do to run out of gas. Here's what's good for you. I'm going to fight you with what's good for you. This is how you run out of gas. I'm going to shove this down your throat, what's good for you. And then you throw it back up in my face. No. I'm going to let you think what's good for you and let you go out there and let you go do whatever. And then when it's time, what's that? So one of y'all said something yesterday. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Just the best quote in the world. Yes. So as a man, when you have to understand, you can't run out of gas, because when you run out of gas, heart attack, stroke, organ failure, health issues, blindness, all this stuff happens. For what? For someone who don't freaking get it? Oh no. Oh no. Be well. You go figure it out. Go ahead. And like I said with my co-parent, I didn't say nothing. All I said was, are we going to do it my way now? Yeah. All right. You cannot, I say this as men, and I say this out of love. Somebody just said it right there. Stress kills you. I know that for a fact now. It will be a man in a robe who will be deciding your fate. That will be deciding your fate. I'm telling you, it ain't worth it. For what? Humans? Humans? And here's the thing, 95% of them put themselves in situations anyway that they could have
Avoided.
avoided.
100%.
No.
I talk about that all the time. You gotta realize that, especially just overall as humans, right? There's consequences to every action that you partake in or you put out into the world, right? The only way to avoid the consequences of your actions is to pay attention to your actions.
Mhm.
That's the only way to avoid the consequences, is to pay attention to your actions. If you choose to do a certain thing and the consequences is worse than the action that you partook in or you put in the world, that's on you. You cannot blame anybody else for that. And as men, we have to be mindful of the decisions that we make,
Mhm.
because the consequences of those actions and of those decisions play a major role in how we move forward with the next step.
Yeah. That's why it's beauty. It's a beautiful thing. As a father, the when you have children, sometimes the best thing you can do is let your kids fail.
There's
Best
nothing
thing is just
there's
sit
nothing
there.
wrong with it.
It's
There's
nothing
nothing
wrong.
wrong with it.
Just to let them sit there because you know, especially when you think they know it all. Like my
Oh,
son,
absolutely.
I don't say anything. My son got 2 Fs. 2 F's. And I knew he was going to get it. I knew he was. I didn't say nothing. I said, okay. Next thing, Dad, I said, nope. You going to listen to me? You got 2 F's. You know, academic probation. So what we going to do now? You going to listen to me now? You going to listen to me now? Yeah. All right, this is how we going to get you out of it. Do exactly what I say and how I say it. He did exactly what I said. He out of it. You know. And once they see the results of what you actually know, they listen to you.
Absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely.
what all it is. But they gotta fail. They have to fail. And that's the thing. That's the thing is that you have to let you gotta let what they think, because I know what I'm doing. Okay, cool. Oh, all right, go ahead.
I'm gonna let you have that.
I'm gonna let you go do that. And because you're arguing with logic against emotions. And sometimes you got to let it be. And I don't argue with people. And this is when I see a lot of burnout for men. I hear men, they burn out all the time, because a lot of men don't get help. And a lot of it is, you got to let a lot of stuff go. You got
There's
to
a difference.
release it.
So there's a difference between being strong and resilient, right? Because a lot of people want to be strong. I've talked to Derek about this before. Like we were always taught to be strong, but didn't give us the definition of what strong really meant.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't give us the actual definition of what it actually intakes to be actually strong as an individual, as a person, as a man, right? They didn't tell us that there was a capacity to it, to being strong, to the
Yeah.
point where that's when you get burned out. Is when you reach that cap level. When Derek said he didn't know his cap, you have to know where your capacity is, to the point where now you have to ask for help. You got to be resilient enough to ask for help. You got to be open enough to be like, I can't handle this right now, or be vocal enough to be like, all right, I know you need help with this, but I'm at my capacity. I can't I can't do it right now. I need to recharge, so that way I can be able to assist you with point A, point B, point C. But I
Yeah.
can't do it in the space that I am right now, because if I even attempt to move a scale past my capacity, I'm gonna fall apart.
You know what's crazy? You know, it's a guy. I had a conversation with him at my job. And men do this a lot. Men do a lot of stuff for free because men don't know their value, nor do we know our worth.
True.
No, we do this I used to do this. I used to do this all the time. This is how we burn out, because we volunteer for shit for free. You don't, and we want to know why we get overlooked. And I had to have a deep conversation with a group of men at my job. And he used to always get frustrated, like, man, why I get overlooked? I said, I want you to think about it. If you have somebody that would always give the best resources for free, always, best ideas. And I said, you ever been in the military? And the dude was like, no, it's okay. You rarely find a soldier that volunteer for anything. Ain't nobody volunteering for shit. You be voluntold, but ain't nobody volunteering for shit, right? So I said, you come out and you come out with your great ideas and everything else, and you give all these ideas for free. And he was like, yeah, you stay later than everybody. Yeah. You do more than everybody. Yeah. And that person over there doesn't, and he get promoted. Says, yeah, wrong, right? Says, yeah, that's wrong. No, it's not. Because you the sucker. Why would I promote him? Why would I promote you when you give me everything for free? You stay late. You make me look good. You make me look good, right? And that joker, he knows his worth and his value. He's like, I'm not going to sit back and do all of that. And you do it. You make me look good. I'm going to keep you. None of them got it. None of them. Been doing it for
Hmm.
years. Years. Out. when we looked at the timesheets, these men over the course of 5 years have been giving the agency over 30,000 hours of free labor.
Jesus Christ.
Labor. Now, you may say, Joe, well, that's comparison of women. We can do it. 1,500 over the course of 5 years. It's nothing. Nothing. That's an hour here and there. 30,000. And they barely get promoted because men choose to burn themselves out, man. Choose to carry more than what they supposed to, man.
Anthony,
And here's the thing. I'm not here to judge no one because I did it.
right? I mean, I think we've all done it in the
Yeah.
course of our lives. We've given free labor, and we've done things for free. Anthony Mackie said something that was interesting when I watched one of he was on a podcast. He said that we teach our kids if they do all the right things, have the right grades, follow the right rules, that they'll make it in life. That's not true
It's not.
because a lot of the success that you see a lot of people have is given. It's given success. It's not earned. Even though we work hard at it. I mean, we all here collectively have busted our butts and trying to do something to make ourselves real successful and put ourselves out there, especially coaches, because
Mm-hmm.
being trying to be a coach in today's day and age, because it's such a buzz thing to do right now for a lot of people, it's hard to become an actual coach out
Yeah,
here because it's such a buzz thing for everybody out here. So when you tell somebody you're a coach, they brush it off. They're like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because they hear it so much. They hear it so much, especially on this app. I can scroll down my feed and see how many people are coaches, but I don't know who's really certified, right? We don't know who they just called. They just put the title coach, and then now they're a coach. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when you see something like that, and you're trying to create a legacy for your kids, trying to create something that has that's of substance for them, it's hard to do that
yeah,
because now you're competing against what you're trying to do and a buzzword.
I agree. But see, that's the problem. I think the problem comes because a lot of men don't prioritize, man.
Right.
We
I
don't
mean,
we we don't prioritize. And because we got to get away from people pleasing. This thing of, can I be honest, man? You know what the problem? Mm,
don't hold back. You might as well say it. Get it out.
it's too much pressure on black men. Can I be honest, man? I had this conversation that got with the celebrity. I'm not gonna say her name. Me and her got in an argument, right? Good debate. We got in an argument where we hold black men to a standard that's fucking wrong. We hold men to say that black men are supposed to go, and I'm getting emotional because I understand what she mean. I am not responsible for the decision that another woman makes. I can't help that you went over there and you slept with this dude who ain't shit. I don't know him. I don't know my man. I don't know him. All I can do is do what I can do for the boys that I made and the kids that I can freaking do. But every day, black men got to wake up in the freaking morning and be judged by what those other men who ain't shit is. And they got to go and they have to deal with an image. If they raise their voice, they get freaking persecuted. If they sit back and they don't do this, they get persecuted. And then if they do right, they ain't shit. And then they say, when you do right, you do right. Well, why you ain't over here dealing with the dude that I slept with and I chose to deal with and I chose to make children with? Well, why you ain't over here and go do something with this dude to the choices that I made? Why you didn't go over here and do nothing with him? Like I'm supposed to freaking know that you were going to sleep with the freaking 50% dude who ain't shit. Now I'm responsible for a decision that I didn't even know you was going to fucking do.
F1 in the
Now
chat,
I'm
guys. F1
responsible
in the
for that.
chat, guys.
So, a good black man, a decent dude, who now is upstanding, is responsible for a guy that he never met, he's never going to meet, it's not in his circle, he's never going to even remotely talk to, he's responsible for. I heard Kate Michelle, and shout out to her because I met her one day, say the same thing and say that we're responsible for creating this. But well, what about everybody else? What about the brothers that do? So now I share my spotlight that I earned with men who don't belong. Now I share my spotlight that I've earned because I've been there. I cut the umbilical cord on my sons. Both of them, I named them. They have my name. I share the spotlight with other brothers who've never folded on their children, folded on the women that they've been there. So why am I held responsible for men that I've never met? But I can't raise my voice. Now I have to answer questions about men that I've never met. And these men have to deal with that. And men have to wake up in the morning and deal with the pressures of the world, viewing them a certain way. Not by society, no, not just that. Not by just other people, no, not just that. Not just being marginalized, oh no, not just that. You get it by everybody. Everybody. You have to work 100 times harder. I just told you I went in there with 30,000 hours of men just trying to get a promotion for $100 extra. It's still not good enough. Still not good enough. And then they get persecuted because that's not good enough. And if they say something, you're making excuses. They get judged, they get marginalized, and they get criticized because they get judged. They get judged on one side, they get judged by the Pookies and Ray Rays, which I don't understand why they're getting judged by them. And then they get judged by the freaking elite, the basketball player, for which I don't understand why they get there. So either way, they get in the middle. They can't freaking win. Just to be loved. And these are the men that I talk to. I've never understood. These are the brothers that get talked to because they wake up in the morning and they have heart disease and they go talk to a doctor, and the doctor, they don't know any mumbo jumbo, and the doctor tell them take this pill, and it causes dysfunction in them, and somebody criticized them because they got ED because they took a pill, but they didn't know that pill was going to do that to them. Well, guess what? Here goes somebody laughing at them because this happening. Well, what did they didn't know that it was either or. It was either have a heart attack from having high blood pressure or this. Well, they didn't know. Well, shame them for that. Oh, his teeth falling out. Well, guess what? He didn't know that he was supposed to do this because somebody was supposed to tell him that. Well, he didn't know. Well, shame him for that. Everywhere he turns, shame. Well, what is he supposed to do? What is he supposed to do? But no one shames him when he's a good dad because he shows up at PTA meetings. No one says anything because he shows up every single day being a father. Because he cuts the umbilical cord. Because he pours into his son. Nobody says anything because his son never been in drugs. Because he's a dad. He's a father. He's a father. He's a father. He's a dad. When his son gets there, his son is excited and smiles when he sees him. You don't hear what I'm saying? His son smiles. His child smiles when he sees him. His ears perk up when his child hears his voice, and that gets nothing. But because he can't afford something online, he gets persecuted. He's not a high value man. He's not successful. Because he can't, because he tries, man. In a world that moves the goddamn goalposts every chance you look. Just yesterday, eggs were $3. Now they're $7. We persecute them for that. So every single day, we meet men every day. Every day, men try. They try every single day. And they get persecuted every day. And like my celebrity homegirl, I love her, dog. I love her, but she freaking wrong. She wrong. K. Michelle, she wrong for telling men that we have to hold the mantle for men that you wasn't supposed to be having sex with. You should have made them virgins. For men, you should have never made fathers. You gave them the highest honor that's possible. You made them father. You put them in the same place that we are. You gave them the same honor that I got. And I'm supposed to share the same podium that with them. The nerve of you to put them in the same place as me. They should never be in a room with me. Never. We are men. They don't even know what it feels like to have this level of stress. I guarantee if I ask y'all right now what it feels like, how anxiety it feels to if you lose your job, what it feels like, you guys will go crazy. Oh my gosh, if I lose, what would I do? How would I take care of my children? What would I? Do you know what these little man children wouldn't even know what that feels like? They wouldn't even know what it feels like.
That was my life actually. That was my situation. I want to say last year, from January to March, I didn't have a job. I lost my job.
See what I mean?
I had lost my job, and even though I didn't speak my stress out loud, it was stressful. It was stressful. Luckily, I have an amazing supportive spouse. You know what I'm saying? Because if without that, I probably would have fell apart.
Let me tell you, you know
I
what's
would
crazy?
I would I would 100% fell apart. I'm just gonna be honest with you, right? So
Yeah,
I would 100% fell apart because where my head was, it was just making me think that everything is on her shoulders now because I'm not
exactly.
working.
Exactly.
And
Let me
I
tell
didn't and I didn't want to I didn't want that for her. I didn't want that for anybody that relied on me. You know what I'm saying? My kids, her, and the fact that I had to deal with that for months. because they wouldn't give me unemployment. They
Oh,
denied me unemployment. So now I'm sitting here empty. Nothing. No money, no nothing, right? The only money that I can rely on is possibly my books selling or me getting a client for coaching. If that even happens,
let
right?
me tell let me
So
tell you something. Let me tell you something. You know, and I'm not proud of this. I slapped this dude. I slapped this dude, and I'm not proud of it. I slapped him because he was talking about $250 that he had to pay, and he wouldn't pay it for child support. And I was at an event, and we got furloughed in the government, and I was freaking out because I pay. I make sure. I was like, man, I front load my ex-wife. I went off, and I think they recorded it, and I was like, man, he said something, and I just looked at him, and he kept talking to me, man, I ain't even paying it, and he was proud of it. He was talking in pride, and I said, man, get away from me, man. I beg you, I'm not capable because I was sitting there, and I was like, I'm not capable of keep hearing this. I'm not able to hear this. Why is this man in my presence? And he kept talking. He kept talking like he was proud of $250. And I don't tell nobody how much I give, but I take care of my co-parent. I take care of her. And he was proud that his co-parent car broke down. And he was like, yeah, her car broke down. She was, you know what I'm saying? That's why I don't agree with you, man. You know what I'm saying? Her car broke down. I ain't care, you know what I'm saying? Her car broke down. And like my co-parent at the time needed brakes. And I was like, got her brakes done. I ain't proud of it. If anybody's seen the clip, I ain't proud of it. I just hauled off and slapped them. I'm not proud of that. I can't take that. I'm not man enough. I'm not at that level of healing to take that. Cause I begged him to get away from. I said, man, you gotta get away from me, bro. I'm not able to take that. I, even though I still take care of that woman, I still take care of man. So that's what I'm talking about. Like this topic is sensitive to me, man, because I know so many men that stay at jobs because it's right down the street to their children, man. I know men, bruh. I know men who stay at freaking jobs that don't pay nothing because they get to pick their kids up, man. They got to take care of they get to see their kids. Man, I stay at a job. I'm at a job because I get to pick up my son from school. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I'm saying about when I hear women talk, it bothers me because it's like, shut the fuck up. Because it's just you break and you break and you think about the men who it break my freaking heart because there's so many men, man. The sacrifice, the sacrifice, like yo.
but the thing is, right? So we gotta think about this though, and this is just the honest thing. I want you to take a deep breath for me. Take a deep breath, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need you to take a deep breath. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a sensitive subject for you, so I want you to try to breathe a little bit. Um, I think a lot of the things, and this is just me being honest, right? Us men don't vocalize enough what we're going through. And this is the honest truth, right? Because this is from me having conversations with other men. With this is me coming from me because in the relationship that I am in now, I think I've opened up more in this relationship that I've been in than I have in any other relationship. And I was with the mother of my kids for 6 years. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't opened up this much to her than I have with the person that I'm with. We need to speak up more.
That's true.
Regardless if you feel like you're not being heard or not, you need to speak up. Because let's be honest, we're not mind readers. They're not mind readers either. We need to vocalize how we're feeling. I don't know where we came the idea that showing emotions and being vulnerable is weak. It's not. That's the biggest strength you could possibly have. Is to be vulnerable. Is to be able to vocalize how you're feeling and be heard. I'm not telling you to vocalize it to everybody, right? Because not everybody needs to hear your story. But the people that are close to you, the people that care about you, the people that actually want to see you be better, do better, and feel better, if they're asking you what's wrong, tell them what's wrong.
Yeah.
Stop
I,
trying to be strong all the time and trying to hold it in. And then when you're falling apart and they see you falling apart and they throw it in your face, we kept on asking you what's wrong, but you wouldn't tell us. They're in their right to say that. They're in their right to say that because they've asked you multiple times what's wrong and what's going on with you, and you held it in. I'm 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 the only reason why I could say that is because I've been there. I was that person. I lived that person throughout my whole 20s. I'm only 34. I've lived my whole 20s like that, with holding everything in and not telling anybody what was wrong with me. And I seen the damage that it did to people around me, let alone the damage that it did to me. Because the people that truly cared about me, they didn't know how to help me because they didn't know what was wrong with me.
but
And then when I try to figure it out myself, before I started going to therapy, before I found a mentor, before I found a coach to help me guide through what I was going through, I was broken. I didn't know who I was as a person. To be completely honest with you, I didn't recognize who I was as a person. And I was a father in the midst of all of this. I had both of my children in the midst of all of this. So now imagine being a man trying to survive the world with two boys at that, trying to figure out life, trying to teach them how to navigate life. But you can't even navigate life yourself. You're living
I've
off
been
of survival mode. You're living off of survival mode. And then you bury yourself under the survival just to make sure that everybody else is good.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that right there is dangerous. And had to learn that before I hit my 30s. I had to learn that before I hit my 30s because I wasn't going to go into my son's years of being 18 with that mindset. And he turned 18 in 2 years. I got to be able to prepare to be able to teach him things that I didn't know at the age of 18. And
But you know,
I don't want him to live the life that I did.
I think it
You know, one
becomes.
of the things that
Oh, I'm sorry.
one of the things is that this is all learned behavior. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And we have to be what we're trying to do as men in this panel and as fathers and as leaders and mentors in the community and everything is lead by example. And so our examples, especially if you came from a fatherless house, you didn't have that interaction, or you came from a house where the father told you it's you can't express emotions, then you know what I mean, or you came from a household where the father was present but non-active and you still went to mom for everything. So a lot of this stuff is generational transfer that was normal, generational transfer, generational trauma that became normalized that we then inherited and grew with, and then we then projected it. And now we're trying to break out of those modes and those examples. And all the men that you're referring to, purpose is I can tell you they probably fall in one of those categories: fatherless, active, present father, and non-active, or whatever. You know, you fall in these categories. And for me, coming from a different perspective, raised by a single dad in the 80s that allowed me and gave me the space to be emotional and express myself and do all this other stuff. Now I then transfer that to my son. So it was an easy transfer. Why? Because an example. I seen a
Right.
pattern, and I was able
Right.
to adopt that pattern, accept that pattern, and move in that pattern. And so when we're talking about having the pressures and the weight of the world on black men, I don't fall into the narrative of that. I don't get caught up into the social media dictation of how they think I should live as a black male. I
Yeah.
just
No,
be
me
my
neither.
authentic self, and I show up in every space that I show up in, and how you get me is how you get me. But I'm not going to take the pressure of what you think I should do for you, because now I'm living in a now I got to jump through your hoop, and then I got to jump through your hoop, and I got to jump through
Yeah.
your hoop, and
Right.
after I jump through 50 hoops, I don't even know who I am. Now what happens when two hoops collide? This people group over here collide with this people group over here. Which hoop do I jump through? Who gets the better version of me, or the version that's closer to what they expect out of me, when I can just say, you know what, I'm just gonna be my authentic self and show up, period. That way I ain't gotta try to please you. I ain't gotta try to please you. If you
And I
like
stopped doing. Yep. Yep.
you like me. And if you don't, you don't. And I'm okay with that, because everybody's not going to like me. And I understand that. But my mission doesn't change. My goal doesn't change. My purpose as a father doesn't change. My child
Right.
is, and the young men that I mentor and encounter, and that stuff doesn't change. So how I show up, I'm just gonna be my authentic self. And I think if we can all, if men, I don't care where you are on this spectrum, I don't care if you changing tires, or you the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. Be okay with where you are.
You are.
Facts.
Be
Absolutely.
be okay with, man, I'm the best tire changer over here. You can't nobody change no tire like me. I'm up in this thing, and I'm the employee of the month every month. Be okay with that. Like, I don't personally, I don't get caught up in any of that stuff. Like, I don't get caught up in that. I don't get caught up in these titles. Yes, I just got my doctorate, but it doesn't define me. I'm defined by something else. Like these titles and all the stuff that I have, and I could care less about that,
You
because the
define the
reality
title.
is,
You define the
people
title.
don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And when you
Right.
can treat people with compassion and empathy, and you can love on them where they are, people are going to respect you where you are.
Let me tell y'all.
Absolutely.
Let me tell y'all what she said when I said that, because I agree with you, doctor. Let me tell you what she said. A woman gets to define you. That's how we blew up. That's how I blew up. And I said, are you serious? Because I don't believe no one gets to define you. I believe that you get to define yourself. I believe that the moment you get down the rabbit hole allowing people to define you, she believes that the man, that the black man is only supposed to be defined by the woman because we are in such a dire need, right? Dire need, dire need that he is defined by women. This is what we were arguing about, right? And how, because we're the cause of it. Now, here's the problem. I disagree 1000% on that narrative. I believe that the moment you go down the rabbit hole of being defined by individuals, what you just said is so powerful. Then at what point, who is right? Then when you're done with this person, then this person has a different definition, and this person has a different definition, and that person has a different definition. Now all of a sudden, everybody and their mama got a different definition. Now you don't even know who the fuck you are anymore. Now everybody gets to define who you are, and now you don't know who you are as an individual. Is that not what we going through right now?
One of the things. One of the things that I've been teaching my kids and even my clients. Right. It is none of my business what people think about me.
No, it's not.
It's absolutely none of my business. You know why? Because I know who I am as a person, right? I
Yep.
my accomplishments, my accolades don't define me as a person. It don't define me as a man. It just makes me look better. That's all. That's all it does. It makes me look better. The person that I am on an everyday basis, no matter who's in front of me, no matter who's in front of me, is the same person that I am every single day. Whether I'm on the clock at work, whether I'm having a conversation with you like this, whether I'm on live on my own page, I'm the same person. I've lived very transparent and very honest to the person that I am, because if I don't, then I fall apart. My
I
me
think that
being auth me being authentic is the most important thing that I can be for everybody in my life, right? Because the moment that I let somebody dictate who I am as a person is the moment that I no longer be a man.
I think that I think that's when we get the pressure. When you as a man, when you get the
But
pressure, when you start to live with when live at other people's expectation.
exactly, because it
That's
takes it takes no energy to be authentic.
yeah. It's when you and that I think even with your children, right? Even when I had to, and even just to get back on topic, I had to let my sons be my sons and be whoever they wanted to be.
Exactly.
I had to be let whatever they wanted to do in their life. I had to support whatever their vision they had for their life, and say, okay, one of my sons wanted to be HVAC. That's what he wants. I may want him to be something else, but he wants to be HVAC. The other one wants to be an engineer. I got to support that. That
Absolutely.
may not be what I want for them, but I got to support that. That's not the vision that I may want, but I got to support that, right? I got to let go. And that, I think that's a difficult thing for me, but that also is a freeing thing for me because it's hard. It's harder for me because I want to control. I'm like, nah, I want you to do this. I want you to do this. Because I just told him the other day, my expectation, I wanted you to go in the military. I wanted you to complete, and this is the craziest thing, I wanted you to complete the goals that I wanted, that I had for my life, right?
Yep.
No. And I said, no. You know what? He was like, Dad, I don't want to go in the military. You know what, son? You're right. I don't, you know what? You're right. I want to go do HVAC because I like, so I like working in, I like the air conditioning, I like all that. So, okay, you know what, son? Okay. Because I don't want him to fall into that. Because all right, if he starts to try to please me, what other branches will that stem to? What was that extend to? What would that go into? What other stuff would go into? So just
That's
like Dr.
one of
said,
yeah.
okay, hey man, he started to go into some other things. Next
Yep.
thing you know, hey man, he's gonna start to please other things. Hey man, he's gonna start to go into other places. I don't want that. And so that's why I say with other people, we got to start getting out of this thing in order for us to be able to move forward with our lives. We have to start thinking as individuals. Like Doctor say, you gotta control your own life. You gotta fit into your own fucking narrative, your own life,
Yeah.
and screw whatever somebody else says. And whatever somebody else saying, you're like, hey man, hey, that's not my jam. That's not how I roll. That's not how I roll for me. And I think that it's I dare say it. I think that we're getting into a point where people are trying to control each other, and we're trying to find people to control, and we want to find people to control in order to I don't know, maybe it gives us some type of meaning. I don't know why, but even as a father, I find myself sometimes struggling with it. But it's also a pressure. It's also something that it's a pressure that relieves for me, if it makes sense. I'm trying to get back to it.
So a lot so that when in regard okay, let's stay on the control real quick, right?
Yeah,
I definitely want to hear from Coach Reach and Walt in regards to this conversation. Um a lot of people that deal with wanting control is because they never had it as a child,
yeah,
right? They didn't have it as a child. They didn't have that understanding that they had a choice as a child. They dealt with controlling parents. They dealt with parents that wanted to make every single decision for them, right? That's why I really appreciate my mom, because she didn't do that to me, right? She did it with my sister and my brother. She didn't do it to me though. I don't know why she decided to change all of a sudden, but she did. She didn't control my every narrative. She didn't control my every decision. She allowed me to make my decision and make my mistakes, which is why I'm able to even do the things that I do now, to be able to hold myself accountable and make decisions that I make. We taught my kids early on to be independent. Early on. When I'm talking about early, I'm talking about at the age of 5. My son, at the age of 4 or 5, my son's cleaning his room. My son's he's sweeping his floor. You know what I'm saying? Early, because we taught them don't rely on us even if you need help. Ask for help, but if you can do it yourself, do it. Until this day, my oldest is still the same person. He didn't change. He actually thanked us for the fact that we taught him how to be independent because he doesn't want to have to rely on us all the time. And with him not having to rely on us, it alleviates us from having to want control all the time. I don't want control of his life. I'll guide him, I'll teach him, I'll give him lessons on things that I feel like he can do better, but I want him to make his mistakes. Because if he makes his mistakes, he learns the lesson. And with the lesson comes with experience, and with experience comes wisdom.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I need him to fail sometimes. I need him to see that there's a right and wrong way to do things. And I don't want to have to give him all the right ways because then he's never going to learn anything. He needs to fail. He needs to make a mistake. He needs to see the right and wrongs of his ways so that way he can see, all right, dad was on to something. Mom was on to something when they told me this. But they didn't give me all of it. No, I didn't give you all of it because I didn't want you to follow in my footsteps. I want you to follow in your own. I didn't
Yeah.
name you after me for a reason. There was a reason why I didn't name you Emmanuel Pierre. I gave you your own identity.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
didn't want you to have mine. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So let's shift into the next topic, and that's going to be dad guilt. So, do you ever feel guilty even when you're doing your best? And how do you handle that voice in your head that's telling you, that's making you feel guilty?
I
Um,
Man,
don't know. I don't
no
longer
question.
feel guilty anymore. I'm gonna be honest with you
Yeah.
because I don't do that anymore. I think it's because of the conversation I had with my oldest. Um, I was honest with him, right? Because these kids nowadays they want all the the nicest gear and the nicest stuff, right? They want to fit in. And there was one day that I took the kids sneaker shopping, and my son immediately ran to the Yeezys, immediately, right? And the one thing that I said, and I didn't feel guilty about saying this, even though I know I have the money to be able to purchase these things, I
Mm.
said, look at the shoes that you have on your feet and look at those sneakers there. I said, do you feel like you are responsible enough with the stuff that you have on your feet for me to want to make that purchase? And he looked at me and said, no, I don't think so. I'm good. Now, at the moment, right, with me giving him that lesson, it was important, right? But I know he really wanted it. And I'm like, should I feel bad the fact that I didn't purchase this for him?
That
Like,
bullshit.
you know what I'm saying? Or should I feel proud at the fact that I gave him a lesson learned and now moving forward he knows that he has to take care of his stuff before I end up making that type of big of a purchase.
or better yet, he buys them himself. If you want high end tennis shoes, the first pair of high end tennis shoes I purchased them myself. I didn't ask my parents to buy them.
Right. So it's
I,
it's I think it's all about the decisions. Go ahead.
yeah, it
I
is.
think
What are you saying, Maurice?
I say, as a dad who knows, like I tell her, my thing is, I'm an okay husband, but I'm an amazing father. Period. I'm a 9.1 at least, and my son would vouch that. So I never feel guilty if he doesn't land in the spot that he shouldn't land. It will never be for the lack of me trying to put him in position to be there. It won't. So I don't feel guilt in any kind of way. And I have a couple of homeboys that's kind of like they feel some kind of way because their sons are they're doing good, but they want them to do better, and they feel that they could have did more as dads. And I'm trying to tell them you did the best that you could. How they processed the information and how they took the information and decided to build their Lego set with it is not on you. You gave them the Legos. You showed them how to put the Legos together. You even helped them build some of the Lego sets. How they turn out? No, I don't feel guilty about. I will never feel guilty about any of the things that I've done as a father, to make my son the best version of himself that he is or was, and the young man that he's going to be, and the father that he's going to be. I don't have any guilt at all.
I
I
don't
love it.
I don't think I have guilt, no. Hurt, yes.
Okay.
Um because even though as a father, we understand why we say no. We understand why we say you need to do this. We understand why we say yes. So even though we know the reasoning, it's kind of like when I was a child, I got my fair share of whoopings. I'm gonna be honest. I never got abused, but I was bad as a child. I
I
got
was too.
whooped every day, and I
I,
deserved every one of
Every
them.
day?
I was bad, and I deserved every one of them.
yeah, honesty is the best policy.
And with that, though, I can recall it being times hearing my mom or my aunts or my uncles, somebody tell me, this gonna hurt me more than it hurt you. I didn't understand that as a child. How you gonna tell me it's gonna hurt me more than it hurt you, but you hitting me? But when I had to pop my child for the first time, when I had to teach him that lesson, don't touch that, it's hot. When I had to walk through
Mm,
those things, did I feel guilty about it? Absolutely not. To see them crying because they realized, oh, that stove is hot, or that is heavy, it could fall and hurt my foot, or this can happen. To watch them go through it, yes, it hurt. So that's when I realized, you know what, no guilt. But just because, like Ball say, we could be, Ball, I think you're a 10.0, bro. Don't sell yourself short on no 9.1. You a 10.0, man.
Nah,
Easy.
tears means you perfect and you don't have no room for growth. I'm still growing.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
they got
yeah.
weighted scales now. I didn't realize that. Where I thought at one time a 4.0 was the highest grade point average you could get. So
Nope.
I went to a graduation and they 4.6 now. I'm like, what? So trust me, you can still grow. But no, but what I learned is, you know, it's a hurtful thing, but it's not a regretful thing or a guiltful thing. So for me, no, I don't have any guilt, but I do have hurt because when they want something so bad or they want to do something and you can't let them do it at that time because hey, no, this is just not right. As a child, when I'm speaking when they're children, it still hurts.
What about you, Purpose?
You ought to make me cry. But thank y'all. I thank y'all for this because this. I don't run from challenges. I have a lot of guilt. I was very hard on my son because I was a special ed, and I was afraid my son was going to end up like me. So I was hard on my boys. Um, I was hard, unnecessary, um, and they didn't. They. My sons are so damn smart, and my sons as they got older, when I started to get better, my sons made me. God dealt with me, and I remember being convicted, and God told me something. I don't like when God has to deal with me because it's always coming with very painful lesson. And man, I'm getting emotional. And I had to make it right. And I had to ask my sons for forgiveness. And I remember asking my sons, what I did wrong, and it was like you hard on me for no reason. I I just didn't want them to be like me. I was a special ed kid, and I just didn't want you to be stupid like me. And my son got up and pulled all my degrees off the wall and threw them on the table. He humiliated me. Uh, he said, "You beat me for what?" Right. And I hate that. I hate that, you know. And that was a lesson a son taught a father, you know. I just didn't want my sons. I allowed fear, or what I perceived fear, to rule something that wasn't real. My sons checked me. I begged my son for forgiveness, and they forgave me. And I stopped at nothing to make it right. My son was 6. My youngest was 6 at the time, and he checked me and he said, "Dad, what's so bad at being you?" Tore me up. Tore me up.
Morpheus, did you want to add something to that?
Thank y'all for this, man.
Thank you.
Ugh.
I I want
Um,
I want to let that sit for a minute.
Okay.
Let that sit for a minute. Come on, brother. We all here with you. We here with you. Come on, brother.
It all
I,
starts with
I,
that self forgiveness. That self forgiveness. That's the foundation of all of it. Yes, you might not have said the right things. You might not have done the right things. You might have been extra hard. Forgive yourself. Your kids forgave you. God forgave you. Why are you still holding on to it?
yeah, that was that one. Yeah, that that yeah, mm, yeah,
If the God of the universe, the creator, tossed it in the sea of forgiveness, and he said he doesn't remember it anymore, why are you still holding on to it?
mm,
Let it go.
yeah. Trying, man.
Yourself from that.
Purpose. The best thing about what you said is that that happened at an early age. So they were really young when everything was, when you started making changes or whatever. Better than when they come to you as grown men saying having those issues. So it's good that it happened at the age that it did because they were still young.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It just when you said it, it just brought memories back. I mean, we're leaps and bounds now. I didn't, mm, I thank you for that. Yeah.
We all want our. I got 3 boys. They're all different, as we know they are. They all were raised in the same house under the same rules with the same father, but they didn't get the same version of me because of the years. Those years were based on where I was in my life at that time. And yeah, all we can do is make the best choices that we can make at that time. When I went to therapist, when I started going to therapy, my therapist said, Go to each one of your kids and ask them what type of father you are. But you can't say anything. You got to listen.
Yep. That's
That
what
was
I did.
it was the hardest and the most. This I ain't never been scared of my kids. I was scared of my kids, and I had to sit there and listen to them. And I told them, I said, you're free to say anything you want, negative, positive, anything. I don't want you to. I want you to be 100% honest. They told me stuff that I didn't want to hear. They told me stuff that I didn't think was a big deal at the time, but it was a big deal to them.
Yeah.
And all you can do is tell them I was just trying to do the right thing at the right time, and I had to apologize to my kids. But I think that's part of parenting. We want our kids to be the best versions of ourselves, but they have a decision in that. They have a choice in it. As long my boys are not where I want them to be, but they're happy. They're good. They're good. They're upstanding individuals. I did my job. You did your job, bro. Be proud of that. Take honor and glory into that. Your sons love you. They look up to you. They respect you. You did your job.
That's my boy.
You know, one of the things, one of the prayers that I pray, and I pray, hope that I share this with fathers as father. My prayer is for my son was that as he grew, we grew together instead of growing apart. That was my prayer. That God allowed me to grow as he grows, so we don't grow apart. And it caused some growth on my part because my son said the same thing because I was hard. And I still am hard on him, and because I know how, just like you know how to you know how to navigate this world, and and they have to know how to get out here and not think that, oh, we just walking around in the candy store, oh, we starstruck, oh, we're tourists walking around in this world and somebody gonna stick you for your paper. No, so we got to kind of equip them with certain things, but um again, as my son evolves, he's about to be 20, and it's like as he evolves from the toddler to the adolescent to the teen, preteen to the teen to almost to this young man, I had to make sure that I'm growing and not holding him hostage to him being 10 or 12.
Yeah.
And I had to give him the space to be able to grow. I had to give him the space to be able to speak his heart and speak his mind. Um, I had to be able to admit when I'm wrong. Like I tell him all the time, if I tell him something and it's wrong, I go immediately and apologize to him and tell him that I was wrong because I don't ever want him to think that I'm always right and that he can't express himself. So I'll be like, yo, man, hey, I was wrong. Hey, my bad. And what that does is that keeps our bond together. That
Yeah,
keeps
that's
us that keeps us in tune with each other. Um, you know, I still this and this is crazy, but I still go and just lay in his bed with him. We just sit there and we just lay in the bed and we talk.
yeah, we do that. Yeah. We watch
Yeah,
me and myself, we watch cause I watch what's that thing called? We watch Dragon Ball Z and we watch, you know what I'm saying, we watch anime all the time and then we play video games and stuff. But I try to keep that bond with my sons. You
yeah.
know, I try to keep it no matter what. And I try to keep it so much integrity with them. And I don't want to lie to them. I don't want to lie even when I know I can. You know, I don't want to lie to them, man. I don't want to lie to them, and it hurts sometimes because I want to, and even with when it come down to their mother sometimes, you know, I when I gotta support their mother, when I gotta be there, I gotta rock with their mom because we co-parent. And I'm like, hey man, I gotta rock with your mother on this. You know what I'm saying? You know, even though I got 18, he's 19. I'm like, nah, man, I gotta rock with your moms on this, man. You know what I'm saying? And he don't like it. I'm like, well, you gonna have to you gonna have to get out. You gonna have to get your grind. And that's why in his mindset, he be like, he said, nah, dad, I gotta get out of here by 23. He be like, yo, I gotta go. I don't like these rules. He told me the other day, I don't like these rules. So I gotta get out of here. I'm like, I respect that. You know what I'm saying? And you got to. I told him I left at 16. I ain't like my mother's rules. My mother said, okay, you don't like my rules, so you gonna have to roll. I was like, all right. Now my dad said the same thing. Okay, you don't like my rules? I said, I don't like your rules. Okay, you gonna have to go. I said, I go, and I left. I wish I wouldn't have, but life was hard. You know what I'm saying? Life was hard. It was rough. You know, I got my lights cut off and everything else. But I think that it's like with me, it was always a fear. It was a fear. It's that fear that I had with them boys. I didn't want them to be like me. You know, and it was crazy. I was just too hard on them. You know, and it was too much, too much. And I didn't know, and it was fear mixed with anxiety, pressure, and just too much.
Bert, can I say something to you?
Talk to me.
The one thing that I think you left out just then was
Yeah,
love.
yeah.
Man, when you love and when you look at the mistakes that you made and you turn around and you see you again in human form as a child, you do everything in your power to make sure they don't do the things that you did.
Yeah, yeah.
And you trying your best because only thing you want them to do is be better than what you were.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me think one of my favorite movies is Denzel Washington in Fences.
Man, that's a good movie.
When he talked to his son, and his son, why didn't you like me? Denzel's response was something that no matter what, if I right now on this panel, if it came on TV, I'm gonna mute y'all. I'll be like, hold on, y'all. I'm gonna watch it because it still has that kind of impact over me right
Mm-hmm.
now. Because for Denzel, all that he knew in that movie was, I have to make this for you because life is not gonna give you this. I love who I can't remember who which one it was saying. We can't walk around this world like tourists because it's not pretty, especially when you look like us. See, we're born no matter what kind of gold spoon we give them, we can give them everything in the world, but the world's still gonna have a funny way of saying, "Hey, reality check." And I don't blame you, and you don't need to blame yourself for loving your kids so much that you were trying your best to make sure they did the right thing. Now, if you were doing it because you didn't want them to succeed, then I tell you, you have every right to feel your guilt, and all you do is ask for forgiveness and try to be a better parent and person going forward. But I didn't hear that in your conversation, bro.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad for loving your kids and pushing them that way, because, like I say, being a father, man, that it don't come with no blueprint or no handbook to say this is how it is.
And you know what's crazy, man? I was so proud of him yesterday, man. I was crying because I was outside and my son turned 13, August 8th. And I was like, at 13, man, I lost my virginity at 12. Dog. And I looked at my boy and I'm like, man, I was 12 years old, and I've been with a woman. I had no, I said, and he was like, and you know what's crazy? I had a conversation with him, and it was like, I couldn't believe, he was like, well, Dad, am I supposed to be with a woman? I said, no, son, you're not supposed to be with a woman. I had no business being with a woman. I had no reason to be with a woman. I said I didn't know what to do with a woman. I had no reason. I didn't know. I said, son, this is what can come out of being with a woman. I had no reason. I didn't know clue. I didn't know what to do with the woman. This is what it is. I had no reason. And it was like, I wish that my old man could have had that conversation with me, but my father was a kid too, man. My father, my mom's had me at 16 years old, 17 years old. My father wasn't, he was a kid himself when when I was born. So he ain't know no better. But I'm like, I was looking at him like, dang, man, it's crazy how you look at your kids and you're like, I'm looking at my 19-year-old and and how he ain't even thinking about no woman. He on his purpose. And he's like, nah, Dad, I'll wait till I'll worry about that when when I get my license, get, HVAC and, I'm making this money or whatever. And I got my own crib. I'm tired of living with you. I don't want to live with my dad. I want my own rules. I want my own stuff. And I'm looking at him like, like, wow, man. You know what I'm saying? I had a tear. I was crying. And I was like, God, I had a moment like, what do I do to deserve this? And it was like, gracious. And I called their moms and I said, Mom, I called their mother and I said, thank you. Because 19, 20 years, every day I've been with the boys. I haven't missed one day in their life. One day, even through divorce, none of that. She never, God blessed me to have her. To God picked, regardless of whatever, God picked that woman to have my children. That woman has never once, I say it all the time, got in the way of me raising them kids. Never once. That woman has never got in the way. Not once. Them kids, I have never missed one day with them boys. Never once. Never, ever once, man. Them boys have always been with me. And I'm looking at them. And I'm like, wow. And I looked at them, I just asked them, God, forgive. I said, can y'all forgive me? And they just like, yeah, Dad. But they don't know how important it is for me to say it to them. Because it's like, jeez. And they don't really know their they don't know my father. They don't know my father, their grandfather. But it's like, to see myself and to see the progression, to see all the, what do y'all call them, the curses being broken, or the things that are no more. It's amazing, how God can work, how God can just like, and how God can be doing some things, man. That's just, I that's what me just big up God for a minute, man. Sometimes, and God can put some things in your life and make you see some things, man, and make you shocked. Like, I don't deserve that. I don't deserve that.
Favor's not always fair. Favor's not always fair.
Oh man. Oh man. I could tell you with that, what I'm saying? He really did. I mean, and here's the crazy thing, it's like, I wasn't supposed to have children. No. I wasn't supposed to have kids. I was told I couldn't have children.
Wow.
I was told I wasn't having kids. And how I met my ex-wife, the side note, was I was in war. I got blown up. I got blown up. I was on Black Planet and I met my wife, my ex-wife.
So
Straight up.
so online you met her.
Met her online. I talked to her online through yacht on Black Planet. Was chopping it up. Got blown up. Didn't think I was gonna make it. Met her online, chopping it up, and came home. Me and her was talking, and then God sent me her because at that moment I was the type of person I was. I needed somebody to protect me. God always sends a black woman to protect me. He never. He'll never send nobody. And my ex-wife protects me, even to this day. Certain stuff. He always sends her. He's either a black woman or older white woman. It's either a black woman or older white woman. Even in this organization, it's a black woman or older white woman. Sends her. And so when my kids came, my son came. My son is named after me. Send her. Send her. So when my sons came, I asked God if he forgave me for what I did over there. He gave me two sons. He gave me two sons. He gave me two sons.
So as providers, where do you guys go when you need support?
Ooh, Lord. Where do I go? The movies? I'm just playing. Where do I go to get when I need support? Um, where do I go? I usually go to their mother. We usually one of the things that I can say that we have a really good co-parentship.
Okay.
Um, one of the things that I can say about me and her, even when we were married, we had a structure like no other. Our marriage was role based, structure based. I didn't step on her toes. She didn't step on mine. She expected me to raise. If it was anything dealing with raising them to be a man, she expected me. I didn't deal with the as far as the going to schools and stuff like that. I didn't deal with that. Or if they got sick or anything like that, that wasn't my jam. But in nurturing, anything nurturing, I didn't deal with that. But boxing, teaching them how to, fix things, fighting, all those other things, that was my thing. So we always kept structure. Traveling or taking them places and stuff like that, that was me. So we always kept everything balanced. If she was running down, things got a little over, like she looked like she was getting a little overstimulated. I kind of look at her and I'd be like, yo, I got it. So like now she seen me the other day and she's like, "Are you looking a little run down?" Kids they're gonna stay with her for a couple of days, you know. So that's always been a good thing between me and her.
What about you, Morpheus?
Um, I'm blessed to still have my mom in my life. My mom, she calls me her little buddy. She's like 5'3", and she calls me her little buddy. But she's called me that since I was little, so that's our thing. And she always has always been a space where I can go and I can just dump anything I need to dump, and she'll listen, and I, she jokes, she calls herself the smartest dumb person in the world, and I keep telling her, you ain't. I don't care how many degrees and stuff I get. She always educates me. She always gives me something I need to chew on or something I need to think about. And she doesn't give herself the credit that she deserves, but um, she's always been there to guide me the right way. Now, I'm hoping to turn that job over to somebody else.
Oh, taking applications, ladies.
But just because you're that's the way I'm that's the way I believe. I believe that job. That's what I've told my daughter. My I have a daughter, so my job is to provide and protect for my daughter. And then when she becomes married, I'm gonna turn that job over to her husband. So that's just how I think and how I move. So um, yeah, that my mom's always been that for me.
Walt,
My wife.
I knew you were gonna say that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick, me and her when we formed that bond, we came together and like, look, before we go anywhere else, we'll sit here and figure it out together. We're not going nowhere. So just having that bond with her, whatever it is when it comes to the kids, family, whatever, being a provider, we in it, side by side together. So it's us.
Okay. So in terms of balance, what helps you recharge your mind and soul?
That's a good question. In terms of balance, what charges my mind and soul? Um, shoot, ev- my hobbies. I try. Well, I don't try. I stay balanced all the time. I'm not really serious all the time.
Really?
No, I
Okay.
can't. I am nowhere near serious. I stay comical 95% of the time. I don't stay serious. I can't stay serious. I don't at all. I can't do that. I go crazy. I go crazy and stay serious all the time. No, I like that. I have too much fun.
What's one of your hobbies?
One of my favorite hobbies in the world is I like to play this video game. I love strategic video games. I like playing with my sons. The best one is Elden Ring. I like that one. But I love to I like to create music, right? And then going to movies. I love movies. Excuse me, I love movies. I like cooking and gardening, and I love gardening. Gardening is one of my favorite. Yeah, said purpose. You okay? You said a boy straight. You're not a bad person. Oh, I'm not a bad person. I'm never a bad person. Um, Gardening. I love gardening. Gardening is one of my favorite hobbies. I'm learning to do, and I just now picked up cooking. Right. I'm about to be a mean chef, wannabe chef. Watch in my mind. I'm gonna be a mean wannabe chef. Watch.
That's you and Morpheus. He's a chef up there too. Every time
Yeah,
he's on live, he cooking, eating something up or cooking something.
tell you I'm about to be a wannabe chef. I'm telling you more. Watch out. Already got a page for it. Or one of my favorite realistic one of my really good things I really love is whiskey. Because
Hmm.
I'm about to do a whiskey channel because I
Yeah.
love whiskey. I
Yeah.
love whiskey. And it's one of my favorite things, one of my favorite pastimes, and I can't say what another one. I like to grow my own special stuff, but I'm on the CB whatever side. But but whiskey, oh, I love it. I love it.
Okay.
And I didn't know it was such a big thing
Yeah.
until like a couple of months ago, and it is one of my favorite hobbies now, and it is turning into one of my favorite pastimes. Not to, it's like well, it can get expensive, but it's a lot of like different events to go to. It is nice, man. So I'm loving the fact of getting the opportunity to travel, and like because of purpose and resilience, I get invited to a lot of different places to go to get to see these places and stuff like that, and get to experience these places. I'm going to a local distillery the end of July here in I think it's out there in Baltimore somewhere. I can't wait to go see, right? and I didn't even know it was a big deal. Whiskey is a really big deal. It's head. But I heard they chop your head off. You get it wrong though. You get it
So
wrong. They get serious with that whiskey.
Uncle
So I can't.
Uncle Nearest is one of the whiskey brands, right? That's one I
Yeah,
hear people talk about. It's like
yeah.
an African American owned one.
She's amazing. I met her before I got into it.
Okay.
Right. She is such a down to earth woman. She's really down to earth. She was at an event that I was speaking at one time, and I met her, man. And I didn't even know anything about it, the brand, and she gave it to me. I have a one of the bottles signed, and I haven't opened it. But when I start my channel, well, me and my good friend of mine, we're going to start a channel together, and where we just chop it up, and it's going to be more of where people get to see another side of me, and where we're just going to like review different whiskeys, right? And we're just going to just sit back and just have fun and just chop it up. It's just going to just be me just shooting the shit, and people get see a different side, so everybody can come and just have fun and pick a conversation and just have lighthearted conversation and banter. It's not really going to be nothing serious or whatever. Just tasting, just tasting different whiskeys and just having fun. And she signed a whiskey for me. I think her and her husband were there, and he is a really cool dude. He's a really good guy. And we took a picture and everything. And I didn't even know, I didn't even know that she was, who she was at that time. But she was so sweet and nice, and just such a just down to earth person. I was wow. I didn't know, I didn't know who she was at that time. I didn't think she was, she talking to me like I was, I was
That's
a
right.
regular person. And she
Yeah.
was cool. So when she said, "Oh, here, take this," and I was like, "I'll pay for it," and she's like, "No, here, take it." She's good people. It's good people. Good people.
Morphe.
That's why I tell people always treat people with respect and be kind to people, man. Don't you
Always.
know? You don't have to. I meet so many celebrities just for me just being just a humble guy, man. I don't. I don't care what people are, who they are. I just want to talk to people. Treat them with some decency and respect, and they'll love you.
Hmm.
Morpheus, how do you recharge your mind and soul?
I've really started getting into meditation. So I have a little space where I meditate. It's my little area. I also invest in meditation. I go to float therapy. Um, I'm starting to do some, they call them meditation retreat things. I want to start doing those. And it's just a matter of me listening. Because I think when you're praying, you're talking to God. When you're meditating, you're listening. So I'm trying to listen more and let him tell me what I need to be doing and stop asking for so much. In my prayers, I don't ask for anything other than good health, protect my kids, all that type of stuff. I don't ask for anything personal. So um, I'm doing that because I'm blessed. God is really taking care of me. But at the same time, I want to listen more in how I move. So
Okay,
that's
I'm gonna let Walt answer that question, and then I'm gonna bring one person up that's in the chat that's got a question. So Walt, if you can answer that.
Family, my wife, spending time with my wife, my family, but the beach, hitting that water, going out to the beach, seeing those sunrises, hearing those waves, and just getting lost in it like that. Best feeling in the world.
Okay, and I guess that's from being from Florida.
I guess I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it come from, but I love it. I love it.
Hey, Miss Flossie, how are you? Miss Flossie, are you there?
I think she's trying to come off mute.
Okay, there's one other person. Well, that person's not there anymore. So we're gonna do reflections. What would you tell your younger self about fatherhood and emotional health?
Don't be so hard on yourself. Have fun. Have fun. I wish I could. I wish I would have did that. Just have fun, man. Don't be so damn hard on yourself.
So that's something that somebody tells me all the time is enjoy the journey. Like you have all these goals that you're trying to accomplish and everything, but don't get so caught up in trying to accomplish everything that you don't even enjoy the journey itself.
Yeah.
I'm big on saying that. I tell everybody that, like, you're so ready to reach the end goal that you're missing all the fun and what it takes to get there. You're missing all the memories, what you're building to get there. Um, I would tell my younger self, push harder. Listen to yourself and push harder. Try to be more determined. I have a brother that I told him one day because he wanted to be a rapper, and when I tell you this boy did everything in the world to be a rapper, even to this day, he still thinks he is a multi-platinum selling rapper. Never made a platinum sale in his life, but that's what he thinks. But the one thing I love about him is how dedicated he was to it. And I remember telling him, I say, if I was dedicated to anything, the way that you were dedicated to your music, man, I would have been unstoppable. So if I could go back and tell my younger self anything, don't be comfortable with just being smart or being able to get by, because everything when I was younger came easy to me. School came easy. Athletics, being an athlete, all that stuff came easy. Hanging with people came easy. Don't get comfortable with that. Push yourself. Push harder, and that's what I would probably lead with and tell myself, just push harder.
Morpheus.
I agree with that last part. That's probably what I would tell myself. I went through probably most of my early 20s and all of my teens doing like 80% for everything. I never tried hard for anything. I coasted all the way through. And if I was to go back and tell myself something, I would say, let's just do 100% and see what happens. Because that's the only, if, and, people talk about regret and anything. It's not really regret for me because I don't feel like I regret anything. But I'm just curious if I had took 5 or 6 years and cranked it up to 100%, what would have happened? So that's the only thing I would go back and say.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you guys for being on the panel tonight, as well as the people that are gone already. Also, want to thank everyone in the chat, my moderators. Thank everyone for gifting, tapping, and sharing. And Walt and I are having something tomorrow afternoon at 4 on his platform. And it's just going to be another topic related to men's mental health. So if you guys are available, stop by. And again, thank you for joining us tonight. Purpose, thank you for coming for your first time. Hope we could
Yeah.
work together again.
Oh, thank y'all so much. This was pretty good. I enjoyed myself.
We enjoyed you as well.
Nice to meet you, Purpose.
Yeah, nice
Hey,
to meet you, bro.
man. Thank y'all. I really enjoyed myself, man. I really appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for having me.
You're welcome. I'm going to stay until everybody drops down.